Hello, scumbags and fellow rebel scum. We are rebelling. It's I Rebel. You haven't seen this orange banner in like 40 years.
Oh my
God. We apologize for that. I'm Andrew Fantasia, and this is
James Razile Jarris.
And we're both rebels, aren't we, James? We try to be, anyway.
We're scum. At the very least.
There needs to be a shampoo that gets out rebel scum. But regardless, we are... we wanted to keep fans of Rebel Scum sort of abreast of what's going on because it has been a minute since the mid-season finale of Season 4. We have not seen hide or hair of Hera and Kanan and the rest in quite a long time.
I forget who they are.
I know. I was like, Ezra who?
I was at the store and I saw Hera's Black Series and I go, what's she from? This is intriguing.
Yeah, what's that? Is that Pacific Rim Uprising or something? So we both kind of dived into Google and went looking for answers. And what we got was small, but significant enough that, we figured it would be best to keep everybody posted on what's going on so that we haven't forgot about I Rebel, and apparently neither has Filoni, even though it seems like it. So we checked the Hollow News, or as they say in France, Le Hollow News. Mm-hmm. And what came up regarding the second half of Season 4 is that there is a release date scheduled for February 24th.
Interesting.
For the return. Yeah. Does that seem, James, like a longer wait than usual for you between, in a mid-season hiatus?
Everything about this season has been strange. The fact that they doubled up episodes and then they're like, okay, we're done mid-November. You guys get ready for The Last Jedi. The Last Jedi comes and goes. And they're like, okay, everything's coming back. Where's Rebels? You don't hear anything about Rebels. And then this is just a rumor, too. I don't even think this is fact. I think this is just a rumor that it's February 24th, which is still, as of right now, more than a month away. Mm-hmm. And are they gonna double up episodes? It's 6 episodes, I believe, to go in this season. So does that mean we're gonna get 1 episode a week for 6 weeks? That seems to be the way they're going. That they doubled up, and then the last episode was a single. So are the rest going to be singles, or do we only have 3 weeks left of Rebels? But yeah, the 24th. Also, I got to point out, it's a Saturday. The 24th, as far away as it is also a Saturday, and the rest of this season has been on Mondays. So that is strange as well.
And I totally forgot that. It's like 6 is really all that's left. Huh? Like I was thinking like 10 or something like that, but wow. So we are like, this is the definition of home stretch then. Like this is it. This is 0 hour.
We're canceled in a few weeks, Andrew.
Yeah. Wow. Oh, I'm going to miss the orange. I'm going to miss all this orange.
You actually came up with this show like a year ago now.
That's right. Walking out of that room in celebration.
Yeah.
So that'll be fitting. If the show ends in April, that'll be fitting then. It'll be like a nice little bookend.
Wow. Yeah. We should fly you and Rob back to Orlando to do an ending.
Yes. Oh, my God. on your dime.
On my dime. Yeah. Subscribe to our Patreon and help us get Andrew and Rob to Orlando.
On Erin's dime. We won't tell her.
It's on Erin's dime.
Checks
She's
her
loaded. Yeah. She has a winning lottery ticket in her pocket. She doesn't even know. She just said, oh, my God. So Rebels.
Rebels. This wait does seem like a long wait to me. And like the only other show right now that I'm watching like as it's airing is This Is Us, and it just came back this week, and it stopped. It hit its hiatus even later, even closer to Christmas than Rebels did. So that break was very short compared to this. Rebels is like taking its time. My little notebook that I always have. I know. Yeah. My little notebook that I always have for the show, when I got my show notes, it's like collecting dust right now on my dresser. Sometimes I move something and I'm like, oh my God, there's that book. I haven't touched it. So we're waiting, we're anticipating something's got to happen. And if what you said is true and there's 6 episodes left, then damn, we are like, it's crunch time. So February 24th is allegedly when we are going to see our rebellious friends again, but there's more. But wait, there's more to this story. There were, in fact, episode titles
Mm-hmm.
that were announced. And the first one, the one that's apparently coming out on the 24th, I absolutely love this title. It's Jedi Night, as in Night, time of day, lots of darkness. Jedi Night. This title gives me the goosebumps. James, what do you think of it?
I think I don't even know if I want to say Kanan's going to die, but because I feel like I've been saying that for the last year. Well, I haven't said it for a while, but look, he's got to go. I really thought he was going to go earlier in the season, but obviously the way the season played out, that was not the case. And now, was it the mid-season finale or the week before where he had that goodbye with Ezra? And we were both like, well, that's it for Kanan. That's it. And so, if you're not going to do it before the mid-season break, why not do it right now and start the second half? If you start the second half with Kanan going, then the rest of the season, anything goes, because you're on the edge of your seat saying, well, all bets are off now. Anyone can go at any time. The story can shift. We don't know what we're in for, but it's going to be a good ride. If you wait, the longer you wait to do anything dramatic with the characters, the less invested I think we'll as an audience member feel. Now, kids, on the other hand, who this is obviously aimed towards, that might be a different story. But for the adults who Filoni and co think of, I think they know they're like, okay, let's show some stakes now, and let's Mortis happen later on.
Let's Mortis happen later on. You reminded me just now of that guy from that documentary. I'm not saying it's aliens, but it's aliens. That
aliens.
You're like, yeah. I'm not gonna say Kanan's dead, but Kanan's dead.
So, in fairness, I've been saying it like since I think the end of last season. So,
I don't think that man and his wonderful ponytail are long for this world. And you're right. It would be a good strategy, because whether or not you loved or hated the opening half of the season, it was a slow opening half. It was a little bit underwhelming. We didn't really get into the thick of craziness that we thought we were. So if there are indeed 6 episodes left, I think it would behoove them to hit the ground running at this point. And what better way to do that than to be like, hi, I'm Kanan Jarrus, and now I'm dead. So the title Jedi Night, like just the nightfall of this man's life, that like it all fits. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's that kind of title. And that to me tells me that we're getting into the good stuff now. And then the next episode title was very intriguing. Particularly because of what we're theorizing Jedi Knight is about. But the next title, which apparently this one is supposed to air on March 3rd, which makes sense, because I think that's exactly later. Yeah. And it is called simply Doom. D-U-M-E, which is, as we know, Kanan Jarrus' real last name, Caleb Doom. What's surprising, though, and I don't know if this is just whoever wrote this piece of news on this article was just, being very willy-nilly with their keyboard, but Doom is written in all caps. Jedi Knight was specifically, written upper and lowercase, but Doom, D-U-M-E, was all caps. And if that's how Filoni is saying it is, if that's how he's spelling it out, that's a really interesting, like that alone just, it kind of puts a seed in my brain. I don't know of what, but it maybe it's like one of those all flashback episodes, you know what I mean? That kind of reveals something big about this guy. They did something very similar on Lost. It was 2 episodes before the big finale where everything was coming to an end. And they spent this whole episode, this close to the end of everything, focusing on none of the characters that we've come to know for 6 years and just showing us the 3 original inhabitants of the island and how it all started. And that, when I see this Doom in big capital letters, that's the kind of episode that comes to mind for me. I don't know. What did you think of this?
That's interesting. Well, as someone who has seen the first episode of Lost, half of the second episode of Lost, and the series finale of Lost, I can say openly that I have no idea what you're talking about. But it sounds very interesting, though. Well, if you go Jedi Knight, let's say something is telling in Jedi Knight about obviously Kanan, and then it's going to play off in Doom. Clearly, that would be cool though if they went back and they showed something about his past, because they did that comic run on him and then that got canceled. And I haven't. Have you read that comic? I have not.
Yes, yeah, it's a lot of fun.
I heard it was really good. Yeah, I've heard positive things about it. But I guess, this is a character that spawned from a Disney XD show, and I guess comic readers were not too crazy about diving into this new character. They had no idea who he was, so I got the can, and something else replaced it, and that's doing well. Or I think it was Vader replaced it, or something replaced it. It's doing well, and whatever. There's a lot to Kanan, because his story is, I honestly, even maybe including the live action films, his backstory is super intriguing of all the new characters that has been created in this new regime, because he is somebody who survived Order 66, and that to me is one of the most interesting elements of Star Wars, is the Order 66. And then when I think of what spin-off would I like to see, there's one that I always think of in my own mind, where it is a Padawan, and he doesn't survive Order 66 because of because of his own skill set or whatnot. It's just he falls somewhere and wakes up on a planet, and he's the only Jedi left, and he doesn't really know what's going on. And so Kanan really is basically that. And so I love that. And if you go back in time, you tell more of his story, and maybe he comes back as some kind of Force Ghostian type thing for Ezra at the last minute. I don't know how he would have learned that, but he has had contact with Yoda, so maybe that's something going on. I think though Doom is the last time we will hear Freddie Prinze Jr., and I'm going to say that he is going to give Ezra one final lesson in that episode.
That's an interesting thought. Yeah,
Well, I haven't seen Lost, so I like your idea, but I can't.
I gotta get you on board that show.
Seriously.
Rob will hate it because Snoke dies on Lost.
Actually, sorry, side Akbar. Rob did compare Snoke to things that happened on Lost that didn't get fleshed out. That was literally like he goes, "They do this all the time on Lost," and I was like, "I don't look, man. I don't know. I haven't watched TV since Scrubs." You can't.
The Kanan comic was I was really digging it, but I always saw it as, I like that it ended when it did. I always saw it as just kind of like a limited series. Okay. It knew the story it was telling, and then it got to that point, and then it's like, okay, like we don't need to carry this on. And I like when comics do that, because the whole ongoing thing, it's like, okay, I know everything you're giving me right now is just padding. I really liked what they did with Kanan. But here's another thought. Jedi Knight, that episode. What if that's not about Kanan meeting his end? What if that's about Ahsoka meeting her end?
Here's the problem with Ahsoka. She hasn't been on the show for so long.
Exactly.
It's been 2 years, a year and a half since we've seen Ahsoka. And so if you're going to do I'm fine with her coming back and doing an episode. That's fine. But but she's not a Jedi also. So she says that clearly. I want her to come back. Like the one thing that I like about your Mortis episode is how it kind of wraps up Ahsoka, Kanan, Ezra, all these Force wielders that really were like, why are they out there? I mean, although the way the new era of Star Wars is going is that they are out there. That it's not just Luke. It's like, so it's like a really weird gray area with it all. But that's one thing I really like about that Mortis episode. By the way, somebody just watched it recently and commented on it, and they're like, "This needs more views." So, I think when you told me that idea, I'm like, that is a fitting, to me, that is a fitting end for these three characters. We know Hera lives on, spoiler alert, but Disney is not shy. Lucasfilm is not shy of showing us Hera later on, which is fine. Not everybody needs to die. I know everyone's like, Zeb and Kallus are going to go out together, which is a fair possibility, but not everybody needs to die. They need to figure out how to get rid of Kanan and Ezra, and to a lesser extent Ahsoka. Like if Ahsoka never comes back, I'm actually even okay with that ending for her with Vader in a lot of ways. I mean, I'm sure we'll get more Ahsoka at some point. Filoni's not just gonna be like, ambiguous. I think Filoni knows what her ending is going to be. I don't think he did obviously years ago, but now I think he's like, okay. And they have the Mortis thing to play with. We've spoken about it. They're not going to put that in a movie, at least not for 10, 20 years when that generation of viewer is the filmmaker. Like, these things aren't going to play into it. So, yeah, I don't know. Did I answer that? Probably not. I don't know. It's not about Ahsoka. It could be about Ahsoka, but it's not.
You're right. I don't want it. I don't want it to be about Ahsoka dying, because, like you said, we have not seen her for a year and a half. Don't bring her back and then like 10 minutes later be like, I'm dead now. Give us some time so that we feel that void when she's gone. Yeah. That's all I want. I want to be sad if she dies. I will with Kanan. I will be. So I hope it's Kanan. But if they pull that Ahsoka thing just to dangle her in front of us and take her away, I'll be like, well, why didn't you just have her get out of that temple then, so that we could have spent all more of that time with her. I think the main thing that we might be overlooking is the reason there is such a big gap between the mid-season and where it's picking up is, could there possibly be, and I think if this is the case, it will be very light. It will be stuff that's kind of insignificant to like our parents if they watch the episode, but could there possibly be stuff in these remaining 6 episodes that tie in a fair amount to The Last Jedi?
It's a good question. When The Force Awakens came out, we got that teaser trailer right away showing us Ezra holding up the crossguard lightsaber to show that it was something ancient. I think, you would hope that it ties in some way, but I still think Rogue One is a movie that this just needs to tie into more, and obviously it has with Saw Gerrera and whatnot. But yeah, it's still February 24th is still such a long time away from now that it's like, well, what's the point? Like it's like the novelization doesn't come out till March. Why? Especially when you consider, we're going to do a video on this soon about the problem with canon, when things that tie together don't even end up mattering when a screenwriter or director comes in and like, yeah, don't worry about that. Well, I'm going to do what I want to do. And then everyone's like, yeah, you do it. No problem. We've seen inconsistencies like that in the past. So I think that's a valid point, but I don't think it makes any sense given what they've given us. But also the release date of the novelization makes no sense. I was talking to Josh from the Den of Nerds the other day, and he was like, apparently in the novelization, we're going to get huge revelations about Snoke and this and that. And then I said to him, does any of that matter? Like, does that matter? And then he kind of stopped and he goes, no, because of, we've seen it in the Force Awakens novelization where things in that don't play out in The Last Jedi. And it's like, what is the point of, this is another conversation, but it's a fair point that you just made, but it might actually be the reason, but I don't think it makes sense to be the reason.
Yeah, and I don't think, like I said, I don't think it'll be anything significant. It might be like Sabine's like, oh, there's a father, like
that. But just again, sorry, we've talked about this on, I think, the show on Sundays. Like, where are the old aliens? Everything shows up in Rebels, so where are the new aliens? Like, there's no crossover. It's like original trilogy only has this, and sequel trilogy only has it. There's no crossover on aliens. Like, let's see the Eloati alien appear on Rebels this season. That I would be fine.
Yeah, exactly. So one last question before we wrap up this episode here. What, James, is going to happen with Thrawn?
Oh God!
Where's our boy Thrawn?
Wait, one of the episode titles is the same title as that novel that's coming out with him and Vader, correct? That comes out in June. Alliances. Is
that's one of the upcoming ones?
I believe
the only ones I've seen there. I've only seen the Jedi Knight and the Doom. That's all.
Okay, so let's say I'm trying to avoid the question. Thrawn's going to survive. People have said this all over, that Thrawn will go to the unknown regions. Eli's out there. I do not want Thrawn to get killed off on this show. He has been personally very underwhelming. We're gonna get you guys to do well, maybe I will, but we'll do a high ground on Heir to the Empire in a few weeks, probably right before the start of Rebels, to kind of be like, this is what Thrawn is, because Thrawn in Rebels has been underwhelming, and to a certain extent, Vader was kind of underwhelming for a while. I mean, how long can these guys avoid, the Empire? Like, and it's not just the Empire. Like, if you avoid Callus, that's fine, because I don't know who Callus is, but when you avoid Vader and you get away from Thrawn, it's like, well, these are supposed to be the hotshots of the Empire. And now, like, that's fine that there are heroes and the heroes got to escape, but so I don't want Thrawn. I want Thrawn to live on for another day, and I want more Thrawn novels. I think Thrawn is better suited for the novels than anything else, and so that's why I want him to survive. What about you?
I really want him to survive past the end of Rebels, and the main reason for that is because of what the Bendu said to him. This whole sort of foretelling of his fall. If we get to the finale of Rebels and it's over and it's like the curtain falls and Thrawn is still alive, that will make me really happy, because it'll tell me that the story group has a vision for this man's fall, for the end of this character, but they're playing the long game. It tells me that they are planning out other things. Yeah, and that makes me excited. That tells me, like, we know what we're going to do with Thrawn, but we still have more plans for him and other things. So we're not just going to foretell his demise and then 5 episodes later show his demise. Like, it's going to be like, trust us. We are planning ahead. That's what it tells me, is we are planning ahead. We got your back. We have these characters under control. That we're not just throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. So that'll instill some faith with me that planning ahead is what I want to see, and seeing Thrawn live on to fight another day in all his blue glory will give me that faith. So bring on the Thrawn.
Yeah, man.
But that has been I Rebel for now.
This is our mid-season.
With a question mark? Yeah, it's our mid-season. We're still alive. You know what I mean? And I hope that this show goes out in a very satisfying way, and I think it will. I think at the end of the day it will. I think it's going to be a very quiet kind of satisfying, like the Twin Sons episode. But I think it will be the kind that we look back on and be like, good job.
I gotta do one more thing before we leave. Vader appearing before the end of the season. 100%?
If Ahsoka appears, 100%, yes.
I wonder, him and Thrawn have a story, so I'm curious to see if that plays out in the show on any level, even if it's just somebody sees them down a hallway and it's Vader talking to Thrawn, and you don't know what's being said, and then they go their separate ways, and then we get the novelization and we're like, oh, is what was said. So I love Vader, but if he does come back, I don't want to see him fight anyone unless he wins the fight. I don't want him to come back.
Right. Agreed. Well, scumbags, let us know what you think about Rebels Season 4, what's left of it. Give us the comments, give us the rundown. What do you want to see? What do you not want to see? Where do you think our boy Rex is going to end up? Because he's still a thing. Let us know. Tell us, hug us, kiss us, subscribe, like, all that fun stuff. Patreon, that's a thing too. And until next time, James, you were always scum.
Rebels scum.
Chrome Dome.
Hey scumbags, thanks for watching. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up on our video. As always, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Rebel Scum Podcast, for all the latest videos.